A proposed settlement announced last week involving the National Association of Realtors could lead to changes in how realtors are paid. 9 News real estate expert Lane Lyon joins us this morning with a closer look. Lane is also a realtor and managing broker. Thank you so much for coming in.
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate it. It's an important topic.
It is. It's been all the headlines the last
Sure
couple of
has.
days. So can you break it down so people can understand what the settlement is?
Well, when it comes to the settlement, our industry leaders are watching it very closely. There is a lot of chatter, obviously, among realtors. And the bottom line is this has yet to be approved by the courts. We understand that will happen in the next few months, midsummer. So we anticipate that as we continue to digest all of the details, that will become more clear. And if we need to make adjustments or shifts in disclosure, then we will do that here locally for sure.
Okay, and I think anyone that's sitting at home that's either a buyer or a seller, they're saying, how does this affect me?
Right. Well, and it's a fair question, and I'm glad you're asking. What I would say to buyers and sellers right now is that you will need to continue working very closely with a trusted professional, a realtor who will advise you through this process. It's tricky, it's complicated, and it's probably the single most largest personal and financial investment that a lot of us make. But here's what I want you to know too, that I think isn't being said too much out there, is that real estate practices vary from state to state. And a lot of what's being talked about through this settlement outside of Colorado are topics that we've been discussing for a long time here. Being transparent, having great representation, these are commitments that here in Colorado we've been talking about for a long time. We are well aware of issues of antitrust, and we want to make sure that everything is spelled out, and our agreements are. So when you sit down with your realtor, these are questions you should ask, and I think you're going to find that a lot of this is already spelled out in our agreements. Everything from how that transaction is going to be negotiated. What are you leaving in your home? What are you taking with you? How are you paid? How are we going to price this property? And what about the other realtor that's coming? How are they paid, and what does that look like? These are things that are already spelled out in Colorado, and I'm very proud of that. Transparency has been a key commitment for realtors here in Colorado for a long time.
So it sounds like the good news for anyone in Colorado buying or selling, it sounds like Colorado's ahead of the curve when it comes to this.
I would say so. In fact, my opinion is that this really is an opportunity for other states to come up to the level of where Colorado has been operating for a long time. Part of what you're hearing about is that buyers will need a representation agreements. I know my dad for a long time told me, get everything in writing, and that's what it's about. In fact, I brought our buyer agency agreement. It's 9 pages. When you're working with a realtor as a buyer, we're already doing this. It already spells out what the responsibilities of the realtor are, what you should expect of me, how I am compensated, and what if that seller doesn't want to pay my commission? What happens then? Already spelled out, and quite frankly, once you go through it with your realtor, I think it really makes a lot of sense. And interestingly enough, these documents are not in play across the country, and that's what a lot of this is about.
Okay, so what is your advice to anyone thinking of selling their home soon?
Well, understand that market conditions change all of the time, and negotiating the best offer for your house is still really important. So what is it going to look like? Are you going to bring a stager in? Who's paying for that, for example? What are you going to pay your listing agent? This is something that we've been negotiating for a long time. We have negotiated commissions into deals forever. How we do that has been very transparent for a long time. And I really think that the focus needs to be on your motivation. What's most important, and align yourself with a trusted professional. I am in full agreement, Corey, that consumers will continue to see the value of working with a licensed professional during a very tricky situation, someone who can assume the legal liability, understand the art of negotiation, helping them with the inspection piece, and negotiating an offer that is going to be the best for them, whether you're buying or selling. It's not just lip service. This is something we practice, and I think for realtors out there, we will do a better job of articulating our value if we need to, because it's important. You know, you've been there.
Oh, I have been there.
It's not an easy process, and so I do believe that we have a role to play. We have a very important responsibility when we sit down at the kitchen table with you, and you as a consumer need to have everything disclosed to you, and like I say, Colorado has been on the front lines of making sure that you know.
Well, it's good. It's good to hear, and thank you so much for coming in to answer all the questions.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We'll keep an eye on it, and I'll be back to tell you more.
All right. Thank you, Lane.
You got it.
Ed?